Hello and welcome to round 3 of the RRacing League here on MotoGP 20, so obviously the Moto2 League that I'm in. If you haven't seen the previous 2 rounds, I do recommend you go check them out, obviously before you see this one, because it will kind of spoil it later on when you see the championship and things like that. So I do recommend you go check out those 2 if you haven't seen them before. Without any further ado then, we'll head into my qualifying lap. We're at Misano this time. It's a track I'm pretty decent at, so hopefully we can try and do a good qualifying lap here. So here we are then for our qualifying lap here at Misano. So coming out of the last corner, obviously we've already got a time on the board which puts us 7th position. We're on a currently invalid lap, so as we go over the line, a 36.6 was the lap we did there, so a pretty slow lap. Currently pole position is Karma with a 33.7, which is an absolutely unbelievable time. As we go through turn 2, clipping the airbags quite nice there, the rear sliding quite a bit. Obviously that is a bit of a theme of this circuit. Misano has a really high temperature in the game, and in real life I suppose, but in the game it has a really high temperature that does allow tyres to slide quite a bit, because you can see they're overheating. Of course we're on soft since it is qualifying. You can see the right side getting really warm, but through the first sector then we're 4 tenths away from Karma's time. Now I'm not going to be getting anywhere near 33, but I'm just trying to get myself a little bit further up the order. Of course sat in 7th position is not great. We've not had a fantastic start to the season in terms of qualifying, so I want to try and change that, but we got a little bit wide through Quercia there. Probably not going to help us out as we get on the power. You can see on the fuel, 1.4 laps fuel left, so that should be enough as we go towards the double rights. Obviously, Tremonto, turn 9 then is Tremonto, 6 tenths away, so actually not even a personal best in that second sector, so we've lost a little bit of time on that lap, probably from going wide at Quercia. So as we go down the straight then towards probably my favourite series of corners on this circuit, Curvone, and then the other ones I actually have corner names today, but they are extremely fast. So flat out through Curvone, flat out through 12, then on the brakes, right to the edge of the track at 13. We've actually gone a little bit wide through 13, so probably could have found a little bit more time there. So at the end of this sector then, 6 tenths away from Karma, actually not too bad, trying to turn it through that hairpin. Caro, of course, trying to do a bit of a handbrake turn as we go through the penultimate turn then, off turn 15, Sloppy Warlock has a crash, but as we go down towards the last corner, Misano corner, we've ran a little bit wide on the entrance, but it's not too bad. We've had to kind of set it up a little bit on the exit though, so that's definitely going to cost us time as we come up towards the line. What is the time going to be here then? 34.7, 1 second away from Karma's time. So then the starting grid then is Karma ahead of Darius in second, Vazel's in third, 4th for Sloppy Warlock, his teammate, 5th for my teammate C5, 6th for Desmo Danny, 7th for myself, Jäger in 8th, Blake in 9th, and KG in 10th, but KG is in first person, so I thought I would just point that out there. He does a fantastic job for a rider in first person. So then, without any further ado, time to head into the race. Not a great starting position, but also not the worst one in the world, so let's see what we can do from here. So then down here on the grid, of course, starting 7th position, like we said previously. If you looked at the gaps, we had over a second to the rider behind us, who is Jäger, taking part in his first race this season. So we're really focusing on the guys in front of us. Obviously, we're only 1 second off of pole position, but the lights are on now. Waiting for the lights to go here at San Marino. Lights out and away we go. Not a bad initial launch actually. There's an MV Augusta. Another MV's going pretty slow. I've had a bit of contact. I don't know which one it is. I think it's Darius. So we go down towards turn 1. Blake has actually got in front of us. We're a little bit wide through the first corner, but 8th position currently as we tip it into the second corner. We've been absolutely rammed by a speed up there. Absolutely taken out of the race at the second corner. So down into last position then. Not the start we wanted. C-Fire crashes as well at the next corner. So that's both the Petronas bikes down in the first couple of corners, so not a good sector for us, running 9th and 10th. We're currently leading the team's championship as well, so that is an absolute disaster as we flip the bike left, then 8 tenths behind C5 as we cut to the end of the first lap. We'll have a look at the gap at C5, but once again getting unlucky on the first lap, again probably because of my qualifying position, but we get taken out on the first lap, 1 second now behind C5, but you can see C5 is closing up to the group of 3 in front. Sloppy Warlock crashes then here on lap 2, C5 meanwhile goes for a move on KG, obviously is the rider we had contact with. He didn't mean it, he just made a bit of a mistake, you know, just one of those things that happen. Just thought I'd say that, like we spoke about it and we're all like fine with it, just because again, it was, you know, a first corner sort of thing. These things happen, but as we're coming towards the end of the second lap, then we are closing up to that group, of course. C5 is now trying to fight his way through. Sloppy Warlock is now in that group as well because of his crash. Fastest out there for Darius at 35.2. We're currently half a second off the back of KG as we go through turn 1, through turn 2. Jäger actually has a crash there. I think he got took out by Sloppy. I think Sloppy went for a bit of a reckless move and had him off. But here we go through the Variante de Parco again. A pretty good run compared to KG. Down towards Rio. On the brakes, we get up the inside. Yes, we do. So we're in front of KG now, up into 8th place. That's 2 positions on this lap, of course, one of them being a crash. Seafire still trying to find its way past Sloppy Warlock in front, and Blake just ahead of them as well. So Blake has really benefited out of this first couple of laps. He got actually quite a good start off the line initially, and then these crashes definitely helped him. Meanwhile, up ahead, the two MVs are swapping position, but some contact going on up ahead. I think Sloppy's absolutely just rammed Blake out the way. Seafire went in a bit too hot, so actually lost the position back to Sloppy once again. But we're all over the back of Blake now as we go towards turn 9. So looking at the inside into turn 9, up the inside in Tremonti, obviously the double right-hander is the best place to make a move in that sector. And we've now gone past Blake, so up into 7th position, Seafire just ahead of us. So we're trying to follow Seafire through this group, really, if we can, as we come towards Curvone then now. Seafire seems to be closing right back up to the back of Sloppy, because Sloppy had pretty good qualifying pace and race pace, to be fair to him. He cuts the corner a little bit though on the inside, runs wide. That's allowed Seafire to actually get the run up the inside. He runs wide though, Seafire. Sloppy side by side with him. They're going to be side by side, but Sloppy's on the outside, not the favourable line. A bit more contact actually between them through 15, but Seafire has now got the move done. So I'm going to try and capitalise what Sloppy's momentum is compromised. He's not had the best entrance to that last corner. We've actually entered that pretty well. We're in the slipstream as we're about to start this next lap. Fastest lap of the race for me as well, 35.1, which is a 10th quicker than obviously what Darius said before. Sloppy goes wide through turn 1. He kind of cuts back, and we're looking at the inside now into turn 2. Can we try and do it? Yes, we can. Bit of a wheelie as well for style as we go past, but we're now past Sloppy Warlock. So once again, following Seafire through the pack. But here we are then at the start of lap 5. Karma does a 34.7, Seafire does a 34.5, and we're now 1.2 seconds behind Seafire. So as we flick the bike left then through turn 2, we're just trying to make as much time as we can up in these early stages. Obviously we lost so much at this crash. Vazels has now had a crash, so Vazels has actually gone down here at turn 4. Now you can see him coming through the gravel, so we're going to make another position up into 5th place. So in 4 laps, really, we've gone from last to 5th, which is a pretty decent set of laps, really, considering that obviously we've got absolutely taken out the first corner. A little bit track extending there for myself, and that was the only time in the race I actually went on the green as we go down towards Quercia. But Vazels, obviously, he was really fast. He definitely wants to try and get back past me, but he's crashed into the back of me by the looks of it. So massive crash there for Vazels. He's missed his braking zone. He goes straight into the back of me, and that's him down. So that's going to cost him a lot of points. Obviously he is my championship rival actually at this point. He's to ride it in front of me, but as we start the 6th lap then 1.5 seconds behind Seafire. So we lost a little bit of time from that, of course, because obviously we had the contact with Vazels, and then we're cutting on to the start of the 7th lap. So we're just sort of showing the gap here to Seafire. He was a little bit quicker at this phase of the race. Actually 1.5 seconds still, so not much in it there, but you can see he's closing up on the 2 MV Augustas in front of Karma, again doing the fastest lap on this 8th lap of the race. But what is this time going to be from myself? 34.8, so actually running really good pace, better than we were in qualifying I think, but only 1.4 seconds behind Seafire, so we're making up a bit of time. But here we are then about to start the 9th lap of the race. Of course, obviously the counters always change before we get to the line because how far Karma's in front. Another 34.8, but 1.5 seconds behind. So we're all running pretty similar, but you can see that Seafire is all over the back of those guys. And now as we start lap 10, you can see he's definitely within the battle of them. So it's going to be sort of a last 4-lap battle between those 3 in front, 1.7 seconds behind. Seafire's already made a move on Desmond Danny, apparently. He goes up the inside, but I think Danny gets back in front of him, so Seafire's still in 4th. If these guys start scrapping, we're definitely going to be able to make this time up, because we were running a really good pace before that. Obviously, I was catching them up anyway. Me and Seafire were both catching both the MV Augustas up, but if they start battling, that's going to cost them even more time. So Seafire has actually got through into 3rd up onto the podium, which is important because he is the championship leader, of course. So we're not only leading the team's championship, we have a rider in the front of the Riders' Championship. 1.3 seconds behind now, so we've made up a couple of attempts in that first sector with all that scrapping going on. As we go down towards Quercia, then Seafire goes up the inside of Darius as well, but he's gone in way too wide. Darius is going to get straight back in front of him, so Seafire obviously wanting to try and dispatch these 2 MV Augustas as quickly as he can, not wanting to lose any time behind them. But there's a bit of contact in front, they've both gone extremely wide. Danny's going to get up the inside now. Danny's going to be able to capitalise on Seafire side by side. Actually, Danny's still slotted in behind Seafire, but that definitely has hurt his run, so Danny might be able to have a go at trying to get back in front of him, maybe through Curvone. That would be a scary place to do it. He's not quite done it. Seafire now trying to go around the outside of Darius, so unbelievable. Seafire desperate to get through, and now he's gone wide, and that's allowed Desmond Danny back in front of him. So he's back behind both of them, and now we're only 9/10 of a second behind. We've got 3.3 seconds back to Vazels as well, so we can kind of afford to sit here for a little bit, but there's not too many laps to go, so we don't want to lose too much time, too much race time in a way of just sitting behind them. But we're not quite onto the back of them yet, so let's see what this time is at the end of this lap. 35.1, so we dropped off the pace a little bit there, but only 9/10 of a second behind this battling trio. We're definitely going to make up some more inroads on them. So Seafire trying to get as close as he can to the back of Desmo Danny, desperately trying to get back in front of him, because of course it was just him trying to go around the outside of Darius that cost him the position to Desmo anyway. Seafire obviously had the pace, but we got the inside through Rio. Can he do it? And now at the next corner he's not quite been able to stick it up the inside through turn 5 as we flick the bike over, then through turn 6. Seafire now struggling with the traction a little bit onto the green. I believe we might have got given a warning at this point. I'm not too sure. If you hear anybody speaking in the background, it's Rishi from Race Direction. He gives out the warnings and stuff like that for going on the green, but someone in front's gone wide. It's Desmo Danny. Desmo Danny's gone wide. Seafire squirming that rear tyre, trying to get past Desmo Danny, but he's not quite been able to do it. Obviously the outside you do lose time, but it is a better line to be on in terms of the exit. But he's gone wide once again through Tremonto. Will Seafire be able to capitalise on it this time, trying to get the power down? Looks like he's definitely side by side with him, although he might be just a little bit behind. Obviously we're still trying to spectate this battle. Probably should be focusing more on my gap, but he's looking for up the inside to Curvone. He couldn't quite do it. They've both gone a little bit wide. I don't know if they actually went onto the green or not, but it looks like Seafire's definitely going for the move, but he's not quite been able to pull it off. And it looks like now, obviously before, I think Desmo Danny was probably one of the MVs that was struggling the most. Obviously out of the two of them, he was the one struggling the most, but I think it's Darius now. Darius sort of backing up this train, and we're well and truly in it now as we're about to start the penultimate lap. So as we go down towards the final corner, Karma has a 33.8, so that's like a qualifying time on the penultimate lap of the race, well about to start the penultimate lap of the race. Absolutely ridiculous. And so on this lap, what is the pace? 34.9, so back in a decent position, 4 tenths behind Seafire now, so we are well and truly part of this pack. And you can see Vazels isn't a million miles behind, so I don't think he should be able to catch us up before the end of this one, but we will find out. Desmo now looking for a way past his teammates, so obviously those two MV Augustas being quite competitive. At this point I hadn't decided, but Seafire is going up the inside of Desmo Danny. But what I was trying to say there, I hadn't decided whether I was going to go past Seafire yet. We're looking up the inside of Seafire, speaking of that, but yeah, I didn't quite go past him because I didn't want to do anything stupid and knock us both off or cost us time when we both could get a podium potentially here. So I was just going to sit in behind Seafire, see if I could try and follow him past Desmo, because Desmo goes a bit defensive. That forces Seafire a little bit wide, so trying to get on the power as much as I can in the slipstream of Seafire. Darius actually in front seems to be getting away a little bit now. Desmo Danny goes very defensive, but that's cost him a lot of time. He's gone so wide through Tremonto, he's going to lose position to both of us. So both the Patronus boys and myself and Seafire getting past Desmo Danny now, but Desmo's still in the slipstream. He's not out for the count yet as we go down towards Curvone. He's pulled to the inside. I can't turn in. He's got on the inside through Curvone. He's got onto the green. He needs to give that position back for going on the green. Obviously that was a illegitimate overtake. I've tried to look back up the inside, but we couldn't quite do it. As we go down towards Cara now, Seafire defends pretty well. Desmo Danny's gone a little bit wide. I'm trying to get up the inside of Desmo Danny, 3 wide, a little bit there, but I'm still at the back, and Desmo's still not giving us position back yet, which is, at the time, was really annoying me, because obviously he just so visibly gone on the green to get the move done. He wouldn't have been able to get up the inside like that if he didn't go on the green. But we're trying to get the slipstream then on Desmo Danny as we start this final lap of the race, 35.5, so we've dropped a lot of pace on that lap, and you can see how much Vazels has closed up. We're looking for the inside though on Desmo Danny, bit of contact, we're kind of stuck on each other through turn 2, so a bit stuck on each other there, but not quite a crash, very luckily there. Milestone's weird physics kind of taking over, but we're still sat behind Desmo, but you can see we've definitely lost ground to the two in front. I'm looking for a move around the outside, but we can't do anything. At this point I was so desperate to get past him. More contact there as he kind of checks up in the middle of the corner, because I was really annoyed at this point, because obviously I could have been going with Seafire on the attack of Darius, but because Desmo had illegally overtaken me and was then holding me up, it was kind of annoying me a little bit. And obviously we did have that contact back in Catalonia as well, so we've come to blows a couple of times this season so far. But you can see on the map it well and truly is a group now. Vazels has caught massively up. I mean, he had fantastic pace at the end of this race, but he's only 6 tenths behind. But Danny's gone down. Danny's gone down. He's lost the front. Danny is down, and that's going to be 2 positions he's lost there. Absolutely ruined his race. Sloppy Warlock also crashed earlier on that lap, but I didn't mention it because I was kind of commentating on what was going on at the time. So now we just got to bring it on home. You can see how far Seafire and Darius are in front of us. I completely lost all my momentum behind Danny, really. Obviously we had that little look up the inside. Jaeger has a crash on this final lap as well. Seafire's right on the back of Darius. I don't know if he's going to actually be able to pull the move off. We've got half a second back to Vazels, so he should be safe. If there was another lap we would definitely have been in trouble, but luckily it is the last lap. Karma wins in an absolutely dominant performance. Fantastic ride from him, pole and the win. I don't think anyone ever got in front of him, but as we come up to the waterline then it's going to be 4th place. Seafire just ahead of us in 3rd, so a good team result there. But yeah, considering we got knocked off at the first corner, you can't say it was a bad result, of course. So as stated previously then, Karma had a light to flag victory there. Absolutely dominant performance, so a good win for Karma there with a 33.8 as the fastest lap, ahead of Darius in 2nd position, Seafire in third. Myself obviously coming home in fourth, so a pretty decent result for the two Petronas bikes, considering we were both on the floor after the first couple of corners. Fifth then for Vazels. He got pretty close by the end, but he had a penalty actually as well. I didn't realise that. I'm not sure if he got awarded that by race direction or if he just got that for going off the track. I'm not too sure. Sloppy then his teammate coming home in sixth, so pretty decent results for both the Sky VR46 bikes. Desmo Dani, after his crash right at the end, coming home in seventh place. KG, pretty good job there, eighth place. He managed to beat Blake and Jaeger just by keeping out of trouble, really. Obviously we had the contact with him at the first corner, but he didn't crash, he didn't lose any time from that or anything, and then he just kept it upright the whole race and ended up beating Blake, who came home in ninth, and Jaeger, who came home in 10th by a fairly good margin. He had an easy amount of time over them, and his fastest lap as well was pretty close to those guys. He was in a good ballpark there, so a really good race there from KG, it must be said. So let's see what that's done to the Riders' Championship then. So Seafire still continues to lead. Interestingly enough, if you look at his results, 1, 2, 3, he's had all the steps on the podium. Karma, obviously, with that victory, puts himself back up into second in the championship, although he might have been second anyway. I'm not 100% sure how the points were in the previous round, but he's definitely the rival with Seafire again anyway, with 53 points. Darius, been pretty consistent there, third, fifth, second. He brings home some decent points there, 47 points, just 4 ahead of his teammate on the other MV Augusta then, of Desmo Dani with a seventh. He's obviously got the win in the second round, but then another seventh, so he's had a bit of an incident-packed season. Obviously, Argentina for himself was a fairly good race. He just got away and didn't get troubled by anyone, but he's had a contact with people, and obviously he crashed on his own then here in Misano. Obviously, as well in Catalunya, you've got to remember, he got absolutely destroyed by X1, so that's why he got that 7th place on the break into the first corner. X1 absolutely took him out. So perhaps not the luckiest season there for Danny either, but definitely some mistakes as well on his part. Vazels up next then, 3 points back of Desmo Dani with another pretty solid result. Obviously, once again, he made a bit of a mistake, obviously, when he hit me up the back. Obviously, he made the first crash the mistake, but then he was so desperate to try and make up positions, not lose time. He crashed when really probably would have been better just trying to follow me and Seafire up to the back of the MV Augustas. He probably could have got a podium out of that if he'd done that, but yeah, then obviously in 6th place then is myself, 5th, 4th, 4th. Once again, missing out on the podium. We've been very, very unlucky. We're the first person in the championship that hasn't got a podium. We just had actually, we're very far in front of Sloppy Warlock, because obviously I'm actually the last person that's done all the races, so that's not a good look for myself. But we have had bad luck. If you've seen the videos, you know why. My finishes haven't been, well, my finishes have been fairly decent, to be fair. It's just the others have all got podiums. So Sloppy Warlock then in 7th position with 2 6th places with 20 points. Blake to 8th places with 16. Mystic Prune, obviously he filled in Argentina when there wasn't many people. He usually does a commentary on his own YouTube channel. He sort of spectates, but for round 2 there wasn't many people, so he said he would race. John and Ninja also only did the second round at the minute, so he got 9 points. KG, obviously his first race this season, 7 points there. That puts him on a par with X1, who actually got given points, interestingly enough. I wouldn't have given him points if it was me for what he did in the first race. Obviously he just sat at the end of the pit lane after he caused a massive accident with Desmo Dani, of course. And then Jaeger, 6 points, the last point scoring rider, because Gazoo hasn't been given points for his retirement in the first race, so I don't think X1 should have been, but that's just my opinion. So if we have a look then at the Teams Championship, like we said previously, Petronas Sprinter Racing were leading, they still are. Myself and Seafire, obviously Seafire with that really good season so far, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. I've had a 5th and 2 4ths, which gives us 98 points, just in front of the MV Augusta team. Obviously they're both beating me in the championship, but Seafire is enough in front of them that we stay ahead. But then further back, actually, there's not much threat from the rest, so there's 8 points between us, but then it's 30 points all the way back to the Sky Racing VR46 team. Although, to be fair, they have had a rider miss a round, so that's probably part of the reason. Ital Trans, watch out for them later on in the season, because that's a team that Karma is with. He had a really off day in Argentina, but a 2nd and a 1st, 53 points alone is good, and his teammate Apex is even quicker than him. So when Apex comes back, yeah, we're going to be in a bit of a problem. It's going to be damage limitation for me and Seafire, I think. We'll try and take it to them, but it's going to be difficult. Red Bull KTM IO have had riders all over the place. It's just because Mystic, of course, filled in when there wasn't people, so they've got 35 points. They're pretty far back as well. The Mark VDS team, we've had both, I think it's Jono, isn't it, and Jäger in that team, so they've got 15 points, and then Speed Up finally get their first points on the board, obviously having nothing before because of the retirement then for Gazoo. But KG, after that pretty good result to be fair, brings home 7 points. So that's the championship as it stands. I'm not sure what the next race is going to be yet. Obviously we don't find out until a couple of days before, just to try and stop people practicing too much. But I hope you guys have enjoyed that one regardless. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.